I'm Salua Qidan.
My name is Laila Mushahwar.
Today we are going to speak about our new book, Stitches of Palestine. So it's hard to explain how I feel about the dress. Its beauty strikes me, its craftsmanship strikes me. I get carried away in the details, then I see it as a whole again. I'm happy because my ancestors produced such beauty and such intricate work, but there's also anger in me and maybe despair, because this was at the time where everything was intact in Palestine before the diaspora, before the Nakba. It was at a time where these people were happy and lived in a very normal village life. Then I began to wonder, their descendants, what happened to them? The owner, did she die during the Nakba? Did she have to flee? Did she stay in her village? All these thoughts come out at once.
I feel overwhelmed when I look at these dresses because they're incredible. They're also a testament to village life in Palestine, a proof that we were there for 1948, that we were not a land without a people.
I think they had a very free life. Not in terms of maybe of social structure, but very free thinking. They were very much connected to nature and to beliefs and customs. And at the same time, they were extremely creative. They could produce from a piece of fabric and a piece of silk thread. They could produce all these beautiful things. It was called a moon, and then the flower beside it, how they matched all this together in different styles. And who would come up with these ideas? I'm Salua Qidan. I was born in Germany to a German mother and Palestinian father. I studied architecture in the University of Jordan, but later I did not work in that field. I worked more in the design field and cultural design. And I was exposed to the Widad Kawar collection when I designed for Widad her important book, Threads of Identity.
My name is Laila Mushahwar. I'm Palestinian and Jordanian. I was born in Amman. My academic background is in communications and publishing. I've been surrounded by embroidery my whole life. My grandmother, Widad Kawar, is the renowned collector and archivist of traditional dresses from Palestine, from Jordan, and also from other countries in the region. I'm the director of Tatreez Center, which functions like a museum. It breathes life into the pieces by displaying them in an interactive way, allowing people to come in and explore on their own and learn on their own.
Today we are going to speak about our new book, Stitches of Palestine.
And here we have prototypes with us today.
It's still not finished, but it's in the press.
Okay, so this book is for anyone who's interested in Palestinian history, who's interested in Palestinian embroidery, who's interested in learning more about the different regional styles in Palestine. It's for practitioners, it's for people who want to learn embroidery. It's for designers who want to be inspired by embroidery.
I went to Palestine the first time in my life. I was 5 years old. It was in 1976. We lived in Germany and my father didn't go back for 17 years. because he finished his medical studies and he couldn't go home. So he took me through Amman. We went through Amman. I remember it very well. We went to Palestine and we stayed with my grandfather and grandmother in Qalqilia. My strongest memory were the orange trees. My grandfather used to sit on the floor in his bayara, it's in his orange grove, and he used to put me on his lap. And behind us were these orange trees with orange balls in the trees, because I've never seen this before. And the women had these white shawls on their heads, and very loose shawls. My first memory seeing Palestinian dresses is when my father took us to the Aqsa Mosque, and I used to see people walking around with these colored dresses, but I couldn't define what they were.
Before we had Tatreez, before we had a museum, the dresses were displayed at Widad's house, at my grandmother's house, and people from all over the world would come to see them. And she would dress us up in some of them, me and my sister, my cousins. And in that sense, I've always been exposed to the dresses. And one thing for us in the family is that we had to understand the distinction between all the different regions.
I was introduced to Widad because she wanted to do a publication on Bethlehem. The separation wall was in process of building, and Widad wanted to speak about the separation wall and about the dresses and how Bethlehem is suffering through the occupation. I remember it very, very, very vividly because she took me down to her basement and opened the door. It was full of dresses, from down to up. Everything was full and colorful, and I got a shock because I didn't know that the dresses were that beautiful and that complete and that diverse. With time, I became very interested in the collection, and Widad became interested in me because she knew I was interested in the collection, and she saw that I was with her classifying certain topics. So because we became friends also, we agreed for episode of 6-7 years to have weekly study days. So we had our topics. For instance, it was the Bethlehem fabrics, or couching of Jaffa, or Ramallah embroidery. We had these topics and we studied everything in that topic. So we put out everything what she had and studied for weeks. This dress here from Aboud village in the area of Ramallah is one of the oldest dresses in the Widad Kawar collection. Why can we say it's from 1880? It has the old stitch, which was different from the cross stitch. When we see these elements, which is the pattern riche, feathers, is done in this kind of stitch, we know it's very old.
The pattern on the chest panel is called Moj al-Bahr, which means sea wave in Arabic. And it's a very distinctive motif in the Hebron area. And it's done in cross stitch. And another thing about Hebron is that they use a variety of embroidery stitches.
Yeah, for example, this dress maybe has 8 to 10 different embroidery styles. This is cross stitch. Then we have here the tashrife, the zigzag applique. Then we have here connecting stitches. Then we have here the couching stitch. Again, we have the zigzag applique. We have the ending stitch.
It's really an incredible diversity. We even have patchwork on the front. We know that this woman came from the Gaza area, came from villages in the Gaza area, because this fabric was made in a town in the historical northern area of Gaza called Majd al-Asqalan. It was made in the size of a dress. A woman would come to this town, they would buy their fabric, and they would make their dress.
This dress from also the Majd area, we can see that it was it was all blue, and then we see this here. So we can see that this woman maybe was pregnant, so she had to extend the dress and put the additional fabric here. Also, we can see that much more than one generation used to wear this dress, because we can see that the sleeves are not from the same area. This is from Jaffa, we can say, and this is from Majdal or from Isdut. So different generation wore this dress, and this dress was more than one time extended and changed.
There's a lot of interest in Palestinian embroidery at the moment, especially with the horrors that we saw in Gaza. It's not only a national symbol, it's also a symbol of solidarity with Palestinians. So that's why it's become so popular. But with that, there's a bit of a risk because sometimes details will be lost in the cracks.
Maybe all the details are lost in the cracks. Yeah. Palestinian embroidery was never about one design or one emblem or one motif. It was always things come together as a unity, as a whole.
What we need to always remember is where this tradition came from. It came from villages. It came from women who never left their villages. And it came from women who worked their entire life. They worked alongside men in the fields. They took care of people. They took care of children. They took care of the elderly.
It's not that they used to make a dress and that's it. No, it was like a language of their life. Like a bride used to make a handkerchief for her
the groom.
The groom. Yes. And she used to embroider their name on it. The idea of the book was born out of, I think, necessity, because all the references always speak about the dress, its beauty, which is very important, the patterns, which is also very important. But before that, the techniques and the technical aspect of the dress, how it became into a dress, its design elements as for fabrics, stitches, patterns, all this all together was never, I think, illustrated in a way we are doing it in our book. So this book is more about that. It does not speak about patterns, it speaks about the stitches. The intention was of this book to have a very small guidebook. Basically only to have the geographical regions of Palestine, to analyze each dress, point out the stitches, and then have them explained in another section. But also that became a big project because at the end we have 9 regions. We have also the old dresses and new dresses. It became very difficult. So it grew. So after we covered the regions, we did actually the stitches. So we figured out we have maybe 33 stitches, but some are repeated. So all together there are maybe 25, and we have sub-stitches. So Adila Sobeh, who is working with me alongside like 4 years now. She's embroiderer. We stitched each stitch alone on a piece of fabric and photographed them and documented the steps, how each stitch is done. After we finished all the layout of the stitches and the geographical areas, the book already became bigger. And then I consulted Laila with me. Why don't we speak about the history? Because we have to mention from where all that came from. And when we speak of history, we speak about the fabrics, because we have to put also the fabrics, because they play a big role. For instance, we have this applique stitch, which is always on silk fabric. So from where is the silk coming? So then we add another section, which is the analysis of the dress and the fabrics and all the materials. And at the end, after we realized we have all this together, where are the examples, the visual examples? So that is another section. So it grew and grew and grew until it became like 300 something pages.
Tell us your side. Tell us your side of the story of the.
Yeah, so I feel like there was another world where Salwa was working on this, and then when I came into it, one of my most important roles is to highlight the history, to highlight village life, and also to represent it in a way that's true to how complex it was. It's not a simple thing.
We realized how big it is after we completed it. Okay, this is the cover. stitches of Palestine. We chose a dress from Hebron, from Qubayba area, because it has a variety of stitches, fabrics, patterns. The dress spreads on the back cover. Then when we open the cover, actually we have something very interesting. We have the dress again. So the first image is a very interesting image. It is women going to the market from Nablus area, and they are wearing the typical Nablus tubas dress. Introduction, where we chose a very old historic dress, also from Nablus, from Hebron area. Here's tables of contents. There are 6 chapters in whole. First one is the historical background, where we speak a lot of the history, about the village life, about the women embroidering. Then we have the second part, the analysis of the dress, where we have a lot of diagrams and technical drawings. Then we have the geographical distribution, where we have several maps, and we have a whole complete sets of dresses on the map, so we can refer to them all the time. After that, we have the gallery of stitches, where each stitch is laid out with a step-by-step scheme how to follow the stitches. Chapter 5 is materials today, applications and projects. We have different kinds of projects, difficult ones, easy ones. Then we have historical examples, examples from the Widad Kawar collection, where we have parts of dresses, and these dresses have actual cross-referencing the stitch library. We enter the book in a little bit mystical way. So we begin with some questions and with some poetry. We speak about the land, about the people, about traditions, about time. We have some riddles, the jalaya, why it is called jalaya. Then we have here women with cauliflowers. This is the cauliflower pattern. And they have very distinct chest panel here, which is the chest panel of the Tashrif.
It was so nice for us to find all these photographs of women in villages wearing thobes. Surprisingly, many of these photos are actually staged and taken by foreign people visiting Palestine, photographing village life, photographing the Holy Land.
So we go to the historical background. So we have village life. This lady is from Jerusalem, and she has a similar chest panel to the one here featured here. This is a very interesting image taken from inside a house of Bethlehem. A mother and her 3 daughters are embroidering. And if you're explaining it about what they're embroidering, she's embroidering a chest panel, she is doing a certain design, and she's working on a jacket. Second chapter, analysis of the dress. Here we go more technical. So we have the dress and its components. Here we have the anatomy, the dress from the front, from the back, the different sections, what they are called in Arabic, and the types of dresses, the festive, the highly festive, the everyday, the design elements of the dress, the overset patterns, stitches, colors. These things define a dress. So here we speak about the types of Tatreez. We have decorative stitches and functional stitches. And the decorative, they were mostly cross stitch. Also, they were couching stitch and a mixture. We go into the fabrics.
It's nice actually to talk about the fabrics, because I think Palestinians are mostly known for Tatreez, for embroidery. But very less is known about another rich tradition of weaving fabrics.
Yeah, and then we have another set of fabrics after the 40s, when new materials entered Palestine, and the old linens all were replaced by more modern fabrics. So here we have the geographical distribution. So all the different dresses of the regions are laid out on the map. So we begin with Ramallah, always begin with Ramallah. And then we talk about the anatomy of Ramallah, the different fabrics and some patterns and the dress. And the most important thing in the whole section is always we have the stitches. So we have always a page explaining the stitches of each area of the dress. So here for Ramallah, for instance, we have the old stitch, we have the connecting stitch, how it's called, then we have the different edge binding stitches. And always we have a section about the hem endings, because each area in Palestine had a different set of ending stitches on the hem. Now we have Ramla Lidda. Also we go into the cuts, different stitches. And as we see, each area has a very big variety of stitches. It's not only one stitch, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches on one sleeve. Jaffa. Jerusalem, we go through them all. Bethlehem. Bethlehem has two types of dresses. The festive dress and the everyday dress. Festive was with tahrira, with couching embroidery. The everyday was with cross stitch. Now we have all the areas covered. Here the areas. Gaza, the Bedouin. And what is not often done is we have a lot of the north. We have the whole Galilee region with all their dresses. We have Haifa, we have the Bedouin dress of this area. And we have Nablus, Tulkarem. All this is covered. And we have a big section of the new dress. We have the materials of the new dress, the refugee camp life in the 70s, 80s after the 67 war. Then we have new appearances like the Intifada dress, the smoking dress, and the stitches. Now we go to the gallery of stitches. Yes, we begin this section with two lists. One list we have all the stitches in Arabic, because people also refer to it in its Arabic name. And then we have the English name and the transliterated name. And the same, we have the stitches in alphabetical order, and then also the transliterated name and the Arabic name. So the gallery of stitches is organized into decorative stitches, into functional stitches, and connecting stitches. The decorative stitches are the main stitches, the most important stitches on the thobe, which is always the cross, and the couching stitch. And then the other stitches are more secondary. So they have always an old design image and the design we did. So for instance, we go here to the cross stitch. This is an example how it is done. From where the needle comes in, how to go out, how to go in again with a small example. And sometimes we have a whole example of a whole design, how to do it. Tahrire, hashwe, the rashiq, the couching, the filling stitch. What is very, very interesting what we did, we have here under the line examples of this kind of stitch on certain pages. So just go to page, for instance, 89, and you see the stitch there. And now we reach here the connecting stitches. They're very intricate and a little bit difficult to do, but they're doable. So here, this is one type, and there's the same type with the knot in the middle. This is the most difficult one. It's Aqeedat Gaza. It's a Gaza connecting stitch. And we have the ending stitches. Materials today, applications and exercises. So each stitch should be present in an exercise. We explain about the materials, different materials, the Aida cloth, the waist canvas, the linens, the even weave, the different embroidery materials and the threads. And we have like examples how the embroidery was handled from the back and from the front, and how also to certain ways how to have a very neat ending and a very neat beginning, how to copy a certain design, how to copy a difficult design with different stitches, how to identify them, what the names are, to which page to go. After that, we have the visual examples. It's one of the most important part. Why? Because each stitch of each dress are explained here and cross-referenced with the stitch on its page. All these visual examples are from old dresses, taken from old dresses, parts of old dresses. This is from Ramla area, this is from Ramla area. And we try to have like a big variety and dresses which were never featured before. Such as this dress from Jerusalem, this is a malak fabric, and here we have the appliqué, how it was used. And now we come to an end. Again, we're ending it with some mystical and some small funny things, like the feathered moon, the hammer one, only God is perfect, Salua, Laila, and Adila, about people who helped us to reference things. We have the late Janet Ahmed from the Jordan Craft Center. We have Hussam from Gaza, who is now living in Cairo, and he's continuing to weave the Majalawi fabric. We have Mr. Bilal Afghani. and we have certain people from downtown who helped us identifying things. We have the references, we have the glossary, and that's the book. It's very exciting that very soon we're going to have our book, which will be hardcover, in our hands.
The book is going to be available on the 15th of May, and we are going to have a special price for people who pre-order.
It will be available in Tatreez and on the Folklore website, basically, and we're going to aim to have it available at many other places, hopefully.
Yeah. And we would like to do a book launch that's different from regular book launches. We want to involve some of the women that we've been working with, the women who have this knowledge and that are keeping it alive.
Any textile student, any fashion designer who wants to get in touch with a Palestinian dress, this book is a must. Because this book gives a very clear explanation how things work together. Because what we have is a treasure, and we must be very honest in using it and explaining it and receiving it.